and welcome to another amazing episode of Experts Eating Cake. I'm your host, Michelle Thomas. I run the Happy Business Club, and I get to speak to my mates who are all business owners, who are heart-led and who go out there, help people, and we all love to eat cake. Now, the person that I've got on today, she is a phenomenal person. She is an expert at giving like best friend level support to people who've got autism, chronic illnesses and disabilities. And she's there for them. She is there for them with bells on. The best thing about her is that she loves cake probably as much as I do. We have cake conversations all the time. She's known as a Disney queen, and people affectionately know her as Paula Poppy. Come on, get on here, Paula. How are you doing, lovely lady?
I'm really, really good. Thank you.
I wore this t-shirt for you today. Look.
Woo!
Because I think that's what we are. I think we're very much cake connoisseurs.
Yeah,
me and you
absolutely.
do like to send each other pictures of cake and stuff. I know I'll get some of the best ones from you. When I do this, we do a little questionnaire, and one of the things I always ask about is your love of cake. And yours was like a big story. There was like 10 paragraphs about this, and you got something in common with me, and this is the love of German cake. Germany produces the best. Tell me, before we eat cake, tell me what your favorite German cake. Oh, I want to know.
Right, I'm not going to say it in German because it'll be rubbish, but I like my favorite one is the German Black Forest Gatto. Now it's not it's the Black Forest cake. It's not a gatto. It's not like the English ones, the ones we have in this country. It's denser and it's richer, and oh my goodness, the Kirsche bit through it is just to die for. So yeah, that would be one of my favorites.
I can just imagine myself eating it right now. How come you know so much about German cakes?
My dad's in the forces, and so I lived in Germany when I was very little, but again as a teenager, so we spent sort of quite a lot of time there, and you just got to do what you got to do. Cafe and Kuchen.
Yeah,
just absolutely. One of those things.
Absolutely. And it's just literally my taste buds are tingling thinking about it, because I don't know if you know, but my favorite cake of all time is Bienenstich, which is a German cake, which is like a yeast cake with a custard and a yeast, and then the honeyed almonds on top. And I'm coming up to 50 this year, and I'm really hoping that all my friends and family will club together and get me a giant Bienenstich, because I've not had one in years, because you can't get them in this country. And I wouldn't think to make one myself. It's just, I'm a cake consumer, not a cake.
It wouldn't be the same. If you made it yourself, it wouldn't be the same.
No, it wouldn't. I think the last time I had it was in 2018, so we're well overdue. Aren't we? Anyway, cake time. It is cake time, that time of the day. What have you got?
Are you ready? Very excited by this.
I know.
Can you see it? Oh, hang on a second. Let me just see if I take it.
Oh, it's a cupcake. Oh, beautiful.
It's not. I'm going to have to ask. Hang on. Let me try and move the thing. No, it's not going to work.
Is it a flower? Poppy?
It is a yellow poppy.
Yellow
there you
poppy.
Go, that's better.
Paula Poppy. You're actually called Paula Holden, but everybody knows you as Paula Poppy.
Yeah, Paula Poppy.
Go on then. Don't keep me in suspenders. Get it et.
Hold on. The problem is that I've got my gorgeous assistant to open it for me, because the one-handed lark doesn't work. Right, he's now going to disappear.
Do your job and don't snaffle the cake on the way over. Oh my God.
Ready?
You can tell this is cake.
It is gorgeous.
Where did you get it from?
So I got it from a lady. I don't know her real name, but her company is called Butterlicious Bouquets.
Ooh, maybe we'll drop a link in the description.
Yeah. So I had a bouquet because last year when I did my vision board, I'd seen these bouquets, so obviously I cut a picture out and I put it on my vision board, waiting for the right time. So when I did the whole thing of agreeing to do this, I was like, I know what I'm having. So I messaged her and I said, can you do me a bouquet, and can you make sure it's yellow poppies? And she said, no problem at all. And they are stunning. I will send you a picture for your Facebook of the bouquet and the poppy one that I'm eating.
Yes, that'd be amazing. What we'll do is we'll drop. It does look beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And if it's half as good as it tastes, half as good as it looks, then I'm sure that people who get them won't be disappointed. But we'll stick the link down below if anybody's interested in that. I've just got. I'm sorry, you've raised the cake stakes, but I
did,
have
didn't I?
Marks and Spencer's. There we go.
Oh,
I've never had one of these. It's a yum nut. Have you ever had one?
I've had a yum yum and I've had a donut, so I suspect it's a combination.
Right, it says from the M&S, they do good cakes, I've got to admit. M&S Bakery, maple and pecan yum nut, layered donut covered in sugar glaze, decorated with maple syrup flavoured fondant and pecan nuts. Ooh, that sounds rather nice. Let's have a look.
Yes.
Every time I sit there with cake, literally my taste buds start.
I'm going to have to eat a little bit more.
You eat. So here we go. It's not round. It's like hexagon shape. Yeah. It's full of nuts. It's actually quite weighty as well. Oh God.
It'll be a pastry-based one, won't it? Like pastry.
Oh, just to let you know, I tend to eat out of date cakes when I do these interviews.
Needs must.
Because usually I haven't got time on a Tuesday to get the cake, so I always try and get them on the Monday. And because they're supposed to be fresh, from the bakery, the best before date's usually gone by the time I eat them. But that does not taste like it's gone off. I'm going to have another taste just to make sure. And if I dash off in halfway through our chat,
I'll carry on. Don't worry.
Just carry on telling everyone, yeah. Quite sweet. Let me wipe my fingers. Here we go. Right, enough of that. We need to find out what you know your onions about, Miss Paula. Me and you met last year when you were launching yourself as a published author in Louisa's book, and there was an event. It wasn't last year; it was the year before, actually.
It was the year before. It was just before I went to Disney at Christmas.
Oh, yes, you are a Disney queen. Yes, we know that. And you became a published author, and you have recently also published on your own book as well. So that's been quite exciting for you. We'll delve a little bit more into that. But what you actually do, correct me if I'm wrong, is you're a massive advocate and you're a mentor for people around well-being and people, especially people who struggle on a day-to-day basis. So people who are, I want to say left behind, but they're not left behind. They need a little bit of extra help, and you bring that in a very open and loving and best friend kind of way. Tell us more about how that came to be and what it is that you actually do.
Right. So in 2013, I left education. I left mainstream education to look after my son, who was having a mental health crisis. In 2015, I set up Touch the Spectrum because for the previous couple of years, I was voluntarily supporting young people with autism, autistic people, young parents, families with autistic children, and doing it pretty much voluntary. And then I suddenly thought, you know what? I could do this myself. So I set up, and I ran for quite a few years a bespoke personalised support package that went into families supported them to find a way to support their children and their young people better. And it was all, I just adored it. I went into family homes and I basically sat, had coffee, we talked about their various bits and pieces. Sometimes I worked with the young people, sometimes I worked with the families, and it was fantastic, except in 2021, I had a stroke, completely out of blue. Had a stroke, and it sort of changed my life. I don't have a lot of movement down my left-hand side. I now use a wheelchair when I go out and about. So I can't get into family homes, and that made a real difference to me, because how could I then support families in the same way?
Yeah.
Because when you're in your own home, you relax, you do your own thing, it's your environment. When you go into somewhere else, whether it be an office or somebody else's house, you tend to be on best behaviour and act in a certain sort of way. So when I'm working one-to-one with a family, it doesn't give you a true picture.
Yeah.
However, I sort of did this thing where I took a bit of a step back, got to know Louisa, spent some time with Jojo Smith, began to love myself again, because I really didn't like my broken body. Loved myself before the stroke, but then the broken body afterwards, I didn't like how I moved, I didn't like how I walked. Sometimes you can see I've got a bit of a wonky smile. Still smile.
I love that about you.
It's quite funny, really, because you can tell when I'm tired, because it gets further and further down.
That's beautiful.
But it's me, and I had to almost learn how to re-love myself. And thanks to Jojo Smith's Happy Sass and her Fabusas or Fabusas course, that's how it came about.
We'll have to get Jojo on here one day, I think. What do
you
you reckon?
You must. You see, you just need to prepare yourself, but yes, you must.
Oh, no, I know Jojo. I know what she's like. I know how much preparation I need. Yeah.
3 days quiet before 3 days afterwards. Yeah. But so after that, I spent some time with Louisa doing the book, because I really needed to get the whole 2013 mental health crisis sort of out of my system, as a way of talking about it, to not move on because I was healed, but to share with other people, to go, you know what, you can come out of this, it can be okay. So I did that. Absolutely adored writing. I surprised myself, because I didn't think I would enjoy it. Found it hard, but really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you're fabulous writer. You've been in the Happy Business Express on a number of occasions. Brilliant stories.
It started my brain going. And I spent some time developing my business with Louisa, and we began to talk about who I was as a person. So as a woman, a neurodivergent woman in a body that doesn't particularly want to work with me. I live a very complex life, because I have two, when I say children, I mean adult children now with autism. So I have one who swears blind, he holds his hand up and says he's autistic. I have one that doesn't say that she is autistic, she says that I have autism because it won't define me. So they both have their own views. They are, if I just say, they are complicated. They still require a great deal of support. Bex, my daughter, is out working. Tim has got a job with the NHS, but he's now living in supported living, which is great. So I don't see them most of the week, because that's what happens when they get to a certain age, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know yet. Mine's 9, so I'm just waiting for that. I've got to get through the teenage years first.
You've got to do teenage years. I survived. It's okay. You'll get through it. I just survived.
I've just got one.
Anyway,
he's not a bad. He's not a. I will say a bad kid. Bad kids are not bad anyway. But he's a pretty loving and nice kid. I'm just scared that he's going to go to high school and turn into a total rat bag. But we'll see when we get there, I think.
So the whole journey into finding out what to do and how to develop my business was all based around me and my family. And then one day somebody said something to me who wasn't connected with the autism community, but they were connected with the stroke community. And I began to think, well, this is how I started to put myself back together. And it's not a lot different from the support that I provided previously. So I began to work on this formula for moving forward. And it's a formula I call Live Well. So
which you'll tell us all about later, because it's really important.
I will. I'm going to tell you about it in my book when I talk about the book. So the Live Well is this whole formula for basically living life as a complicated person in a complicated world. So, I say that I work with people, autistic people. I work with cancer survivor, with stroke survivors, people with chronic illnesses, and I do a variety of things. But I just use Live Well as the basis.
Yeah.
And the idea is it's a toolbox of hope. Yay! So that you can find the joy in the world.
That sounds amazing. Well, I was going to ask you what are the 3 basic things that people need to know about the work that you do, but you've already pretty much said that, haven't you?
I know, I'm a good talker.
You're very eloquent and very calm. I love it. I love the energy. So I've got another question for you then. What are the things that surprised you on your journey to becoming the person who offers this support and this structure and everything? What surprised you?
Well, I always say that I'm not an expert, because experts often know everything about what they do. I'm not an expert. I have an expertise, I have a specialism, but I'm not an expert.
Okay.
So the first thing is I will never stop learning, and particularly about autism and autistic people. I will never stop learning. And that is the great thing, is that I love learning. So the second thing is that the level of parent blaming that goes on is criminal. And I think I've said this to you before. Basically, when you've got a child that doesn't behave in the what's considered normal sort of way, when something happens, the first thing that the professionals do is to blame the parents. And
that's coming from the professionals, not from the general public. This is coming from people that they're supposed to support.
Even in the general public, if your child's having a meltdown in the supermarket, the number of people that look at you that with disgust and it's just phenomenal that even friends and relatives and things like that will still blame the parent. And I find it absolutely shocking. But the level of parent blaming from the professionals is phenomenal. So that's the second thing. And the third thing that I've learned is that strokes happen to young people too.
Tell us more.
And when I had my stroke, when I had my stroke, I was like, I can't have a stroke. I'm not old. I was 51. So I'm not an old person. I live a full and normal life. Now, what I've learned over the last few years is that I've now met people that have had strokes as babies. I met a lady who had a child who had stroke in the womb.
Oh gosh.
and all the way through the ages, and it's literally the percentage of people that have strokes that are young people. I'm talking about myself in all of this.
Yeah.
This is the only area that I'm a young person.
I like being an old lady, so I identify as an old lady anyway.
Absolutely. Although when I was in hospital, I was surrounded by old people. Actually, it's not unusual for people of my age and younger and older to have a stroke, and it blew my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I can only imagine, and it's very, very debilitating. It brings your whole life crashing down, and it means that you have to start building yourself back up again. And which is why you are needed, why our expertise is needed, why we are happy to have somebody who's so full of life and so vibrant to actually come in and step in and hold out their hand and shower people with love, because effectively that's what you do: shower people with love and understanding. And who doesn't want support like that? Who doesn't want support like that?
Yeah, people need a friend.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. What about some misconceptions? What are the things that people always think? And I know you kind of touched on it with the fact that strokes don't just happen to old people, but other misconceptions that people might have about people with illnesses and disabilities and autism. What are the kind of things that it's like, no, that's not it?
Yeah, the first thing is autistic people are a certain sort of person. So the traditional thought of it is it's mostly boys. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a load of rubbish. Actually, it's not. The criteria for diagnosing autism is very, very rigid, and actually it's very, very old-fashioned.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is geared towards boys.
Yeah.
So people like me, my daughter, the females and the people that present this different sort of sociable personality, they get missed.
Yeah.
And Bex was 16 when she eventually got her diagnosis, and that is really wrong, because she could have done with the support much younger.
Yeah.
Tim was picked up at 5. It just, yeah. So
we get
that
it, yeah.
is one thing. The second thing is that somebody's going to come and save you. Whatever situation in, there's somebody that will help you. And the actual truth of the matter is that there is no, knight in shining armour who's going to come in on his white steed and sweep you away and rescue you. No, that's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. The only person that can save you is yourself.
Yeah.
And actually, you, as they say, you have that power. I've got He-Man going on in my brain now, but you have that power. Yeah. She-Ra, yeah, absolutely. And that, I think, is an incredibly empowering thing to be able to say to both to yourself and to other people, is that actually you've got that power to save yourself.
Yeah. And a lot of that comes from saying that you need help and admitting that you need help and asking for help. That is one of the biggest, most powerful things that you can do. Something that I'm, constantly trying to learn myself. But I think in terms of empowerment, knowing and admitting and seeking help when you need it is actually extremely life-changing. And, that's why you might not be the knight in shining armor, but you're there if somebody asks for it.
Yeah. And sometimes it's knowing that you can ask for help and where to ask for help.
Yeah.
And I'm quite good at passing people. So what my saying is, I help people see the wood for the trees. So you've got this big mass of things in front of you, and it's about picking up those priorities.
Yeah.
And I'm quite good at doing that.
Quite good, I would say expert.
Okay. No, I'm not an expert. I am very good at it, though. So, and the third thing, misconception, is that the professionals are always the expert. No, they're not, particularly in terms of families and children. The parents are the experts, not the professionals.
Yeah.
And I've been in situations where I've sat there and thought, you have no idea what you're talking about. And that's, sometimes it's a real worry.
Yeah.
Because
go on.
The support that I got when my son was in crisis when he was 7 was to hold him, in terms of, so when he exploded, and it was all very explosive and lots of biting and scratching and all of the kicking, all of that, the professionals told me to hold him, to restrain him. And actually, it's a big no, because what you learn as you go on is actually, if you step back, things calm down.
Yeah.
If you deal with the anxiety earlier, it doesn't escalate. And why that's not taught right at the very first stage, you're given this diagnosis, this is what you were living with, why they don't work from there onwards, I don't know.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Fabulous. Do you know what? I'm learning something. I'm learning lots and lots of things today. I personally don't have a lot of connections with people who have autism. I have some connections with people who have chronic illnesses and disabilities. I mean, I wouldn't call myself a carer, but I do try and help look after my mum who has certain issues, and she had an accident not that long ago. So, I know how tough it can be on the people who have to help manage that, as well as the people who are in the thick of it as well. So I totally get, and I totally love and appreciate the fact that you have enough expertise, even though you don't class yourself as the expert, enough expertise to come in there and actually make a difference, because it really does. It does change lives. I want you to tell me, actually, because you touched on the live well side of things, what I really want to do, because even though you say you're not an expert, I think you're correlating experts with the professionals who think they know everything and they know nothing. I think you're an expert in terms of what you have to offer does make a difference to people. You do know your onions, you know what you're talking about. You can give absolutely brilliant value to people who need your help. And in those terms, you are absolutely an expert. What I would like to do is, what I'd like for you to do, Paula, is to actually say, let us know how people, if they need somebody like you, if they're looking at you now thinking, yeah, she's like me. She likes cake. She likes Disney. She knows what I've been going through. She could be the person that if I stick my hand out to, she'll be able to help me in the way that I need. How do people do that? What do you offer? And where's a really good starting point for people to actually get the kind of help that they need and deserve?
Okay, right. First of all, you might need to remind me of these, because I'm going to go way off. So just bear with me.
You crack on.
So the first thing is you can get in touch with me via Touch the Spectrum. So it's either www.touchthespectrum. It'll be down below when I eventually work it out. And it's .org.uk. I have to remember that, .org.uk. So
it's fine, because it'll be on the link. It'll be fine. Don't worry.
So that's the main way. You can get in touch with me on Facebook, because Facebook is my main platform, really. And I have a Touch the Spectrum page, which is a public page, but I also have a profile. It isn't a professional profile. It's a Paula Poppy profile. It is me, because the selling point of Touch the Spectrum is me. This is who you will work with. This is what I do. It's personal. It's relationship based. So that's why I felt it was important to have that as profile, my profile. So if you get to know me, you get to know news about my family. You get to know me going, the fence fell down, all of those things. It's not just businessy stuff. So that's how to get in touch with me. But again, you can message me on Messenger. You can get to me a variety of ways. What do I do now? I offer something called Live Well, and the Well stands for well-being. So well-being first. You put your well-being first. The E stands for energy balance. So particularly if you have a chronic illness, you have to really balance your energy levels. But also, if you are a carer, you really have to work at balancing your energy levels. I think it's a good skill for everybody to have, because lots of people run themselves. Well, it's what I call go from boom to bust. And I've done it for a long time. But finally, I've learned. 50 years.
Yay!
Learned. The first L is for something called low arousal, which is it's about arousal levels in terms of the sports and things like that, not rude arousal levels, because sometimes we get, people go, oh. But arousal levels are in terms of sport levels. So it's about things like stress, what the environment's doing to you, what tasks you're trying to do, the people around you, all of those sorts of things. And then the last one is called Loving Life. And that is about joy, gratitude, and hope. Having a hope that the future is optimistic, is good. So that's how where Live Well fits together. And it's all about choosing tools that suit you, because what might suit me might not suit somebody else. That suit you, that you can put together your own toolbox of goodies to use in any situation.
Okay.
Sounds very clever and very good, doesn't it? Every now and again I go,
I
did that.
But this is the thing, Paula. Not only do you get all these tools and these different aspects of things that you work on, you do it with you. And like you said, you are your business. What you bring is part of the whole thing. It's the glue that holds it all together. So, right, say that I'm somebody who really needs your help, and I've seen you on this video, and I thought, that Paula Poppy, she's right up my alley. I could really do with her help. I know that things can get better if I get in touch with her, right? So I get in touch with you via Facebook. How much am I going to pay? How long is it going to take? What are we going to be doing? How much energy and effort do I have to bring to the table? What does that look like?
Right. Currently, I charge £50 an hour. Mm-hmm. And I offer, I say currently, so it depends when you watch this. So I offer £50 an hour. Then I do one-to-one work. So if you want to work with me one-to-one, I can do that. Again, it can be virtual or face-to-face. Then I can do groups. So I work with groups. So sometimes I'll go and work with a parent group and do a course with them. Sometimes I just go and talk. So I do individuals, I do groups, but I also run courses that I'm hoping to put online, because in the past I'd have gone to them, but not everywhere is accessible. So I'm going to be doing some virtual courses that you can join, probably on Zoom or Teams or one of the platforms, so that we can work on various things. So the first course I'm going to be doing is begin to live well. Mm-hmm. I do a recovery well, so if you're recovering from something, a care well, so they are for carers, because I have the fantastic privilege of being both a carer for my children and my son, but also somebody who receives care.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it's incredibly humbling to receive the care. And then the other one I offer is for autistic families, and this is for families like mine that we're all autistic or we're all neurodivergent. And it's so, I think that we need to find our own way of living and own it and know that it is good. So
Loving
those
it,
are the
loving
different
it. So
things.
there's a bit of something for everyone. So if somebody wanted to get in touch with you about a course, they can get in touch with you. How much would they pay for a course like this, whether it be online or whether it be through Zoom or whether it be self-study? What would that look like?
Well, it varies based on the number of people that do the course. Because if it's something like begin to live well, I don't want any more than 8 people at the most.
Yeah.
I like things to be about 6 people. So in the groups, I tend to do the courses in groups of 6. So there are various lengths of courses. So begin to live well is 4 sessions. Again, it can be done over 1 a week, it could be done over 4 days, it could be done over a full day, but it's about, they're usually an hour long.
Yeah.
For begin to live well, it's £100 for the whole session, the whole course.
Yeah.
For things like autistic families and recovery well and care well, the courses range between 6 and 8 weeks based on the group that I'm with, because often people will go, well, actually, can we just try it and then come back to you? So I tend to do it between 6 and 8 weeks. So you've got time for the instruction, time to go and try it, and time to sort of come back and review and move forward. Group support, the one-to-one and group support is all very similar. So I do sort of packages, and I do one single sessions, and I also do programs. So it's all very based around it being personalised to what you need and when you need it.
Yeah. So it's like, go on.
Roughly, it's £50 an hour.
Okay. So it's like customised one-to-one help, potentially in groups. It's very free-flowing. It's very much based around a structure that is relevant to everybody, and that's where you bring your expertise and your knowledge of all the different tools that people can use, and you help them and support them through using those tools as well. If anybody does want to find out what Paula's got coming up, or actually get into a conversation about what they would need, then the best thing to do, just click on the link, send her a message, send her an email, start that conversation, and see where it happens. Absolutely affordable. You know, sometimes you feel like it's hard to get the help if you haven't got a big budget, but there are people out there with the biggest hearts that want to see people do well, and they want to make it affordable. And Poppy is very much one of these people, because she knows what it's like to go through it from all different angles, and she's come out the other side, and now she's eating fabulous cakes, and she's writing books, and she's doing all sorts of amazing things. Oh, there you go. I want a bit of mine now. Hang on. Let me just have a bit.
Do you know, this buttercream is absolutely to die for.
I want some of your cake.
Oh, to die for.
Right, I wanted to ask you, tell me about your new book.
Right, my new book is called Your Life, Your Family, Your Way. And it is a whole explanation of Live Well, how it all fits together. But it's also sort of an autobiographical. Well, it was a tough one to say. Autobiographical, because there's one chapter of theory in each section. There's one chapter of theory, and then there's one chapter of our story, trying it, sometimes failing, sometimes winning. But it's also about, so each area is about a different aspect of our lives. So the loving life, that's very much about my stroke. It goes across all the other ones, but it mainly about my stroke. The low arousal one is very much around Tim's behaviour as a as a little lad, and how we coped with that and how we supported him in the way that he needed supporting. The energy balance is very much around my own chronic illness. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So it's very much around my chronic illness, the fact that my body doesn't necessarily work in the way that is expected, and on all of that. And the wellbeing section is very much based around the mental health crisis in 2013 and how what happened with Tim affected the whole family.
Yeah.
But it also has all our different stories throughout life. So it's a little bit of, here's the theory, according to Paula Poppy. None of it is highbrow stuff. It's how I've understood it and how I've applied it. Because you can read a book.
It's real.
Yeah, you can read a book about the theories, but sometimes it just doesn't make sense to you because it's all glorified words and big words and acronyms and all of that, whereas it's Paula language.
Yeah. I tell you what, I cannot wait to read it. We get it on Amazon.
Yeah, it's sitting on Amazon, waiting to be released right now. We're in March at the moment. So once it's released,
you're spoiling it for us. I was just going to say, I'm going to go click on the link now and get the book myself.
Okay, click on the link, but wait till after March.
We'll be all right, I think. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm very excited about the release date. The release date is the 1st of March, and it comes out on my 3rd anniversary since my stroke.
Wow.
So it's a big day for me because normally the last 2 years I've had to go away. I couldn't be around the house. I found it very difficult. So the lead up to the stroke, emotionally, it's really, I find it hard because there's a massive amount of grieving that goes on. And so this time 2 years ago, or this time 3 years ago, today I was completely normal. Life was, running around like a blue bottom fly, etc., etc. Yeah. Then as of the 1st of March, that was it.
That all changed.
So it plays with the brain.
Yeah.
So it was important that the 1st of March was the day. Plus the fact, now you see, this is a Paula Poppy thing to do. Plus the fact it's my husband's birthday. So what sort of wife has a stroke on her husband's birthday?
Paula Poppy.
Paula Poppy. Yeah. So as I was being taken into the ambulance, I was shouting instructions to my husband to go and get his birthday cake. Go and collect your birthday cake.
God, I knew there was a reason I loved you. I knew there was a reason I loved you so much. You have been an absolute treasure of a guest. You have brought the most absolute gorgeousest cakes, and I am very, very jealous that I don't get to eat them. But that's fine. You did.
I send the pictures.
Oh my God, I can't wait. I'm going to pop them all over the socials. Thank you so much, Poppy. Poppy. I keep calling you Poppy, Paula, for being on.
I don't mind.
You get it all the time, don't you? Being an amazing guest. And we're all going to go off and read your book. And anybody that is excited about the fact that Paula's there to be able to help you, please get in touch with her. You will not regret it. Thank you so much, lovely. That was the amazing Paula. And you couldn't ask for a nicer person. She gives the best hugs. She just has the most amazing laugh and the most amazing smile. And she makes you feel so calm in her presence. And I sometimes need a bit of that because I do have a tendency of getting fizzy. So that was the amazing Paula. We've got lots of other guests coming up in the next few episodes. And just to let you know, if you did see my lovely t-shirt, this is one of my range of Cake is Life t-shirts. You can buy it on the Cake is Life store. I'll drop a link below, but we've got quite a few different t-shirts. My favorite is always going to be I eat cake for breakfast. I wear mine so often now. I think I'm going to have to get myself a new one very, very soon. But if you fancy one of those, just drop in the link. There's loads of links for lots of different things, cakes and books and all sorts of stuff. But the most important link is going to be the one that you click on to get in touch with Paula. So I will see you next time. See ya. Love ya. Bye.